So let us see how Corneille wants to reinterpret the three unities. We will start with the unity of action. Now, as per Corneille, according to the ancients, uh, the entire play or the entire epic should have only the entire play that is being performed on stage should have only one central action, and that is what they meant by the unity of action. However, Corneille does not agree to this completely. He says that unity of action does not necessarily mean that there should be just one action on stage. Corneille interprets it as referring to a unity of obstacle to plans in comedy and of peril in tragedy. Now, what does this mean? Let me elaborate it for you. He is looking at two genres, comedy and tragedy. Now, the common storyline or the common plot for a comedy, there's a particular pattern which the plot of a comedy follows, which is misunderstandings, mistaken identities, errors, people not able to reach each other, people not able to communicate with each other. So there's something which has to happen, but there are these obstacles that do not let that thing happen. So he says, even if there are a series of obstacles, they are all contributing to this one action, one major obstacle, which is not allowing for the plan to be executed. And that is resulting in comedy, that is resulting in a comic situation. So, why should we look at each obstacle as a separate action? They should all be treated collectively as one major action. So they could comprise uh, smaller, shorter actions. That is what he means. And similarly, when we take the genre of tragedy, uh, if we uh, if we consider tragedy, there is always this notion of impending danger. There is some kind of an overhanging threat or some kind of a danger. Sometimes the audience is aware of it, and the characters on stage are not. So he says it need not be again one central action, but it could be smaller, shorter actions, a series of actions which contribute to the element of danger that is looming large on the concerned character. So that is what he means by unity of action. So he says we need not treat these actions as separate from each other or as isolated bits, but we need to look at them in a more holistic manner. We need to treat them collectively, right? And he advocates logical linking of various actions or a series of actions. So he says there can be a number of actions in a play as long as they are logically linked to each other and they contribute towards the entire experience of a comedy or a tragedy, right? And in fact, he says that for a play to be interesting, several incomplete actions are a prerequisite because they kind of keep the element of suspense going. They contribute to what he calls pleasant suspense, where they keep the interest, they retain the interest, and they keep the audience suspended. They keep them riveted and captivated to find out what is going to happen next. So he says, even if there are a series of incomplete actions, they should not be treated as incomplete as long as towards the end of the play or at the very end of the play they are all resolved. So incomplete actions shall acquire a semblance of completion once they are again regarded as contributing to the central action and once they are seen in entirety is once they are seen as bits of a whole, parts of a whole, right? And they of course build the suspense, and in fact a play should have incomplete actions. That's what Pierre Corneille is advocating, right? And then he says a play should have 5 acts and not 3 acts. And in fact, despite the incomplete actions, each act should prepare way for the next. So